pause with the fans. Pause with the pause with the pause with the fans. Pause with the pause with the pause with the fans. Pause with the fans. Pause with the fans.
Good evening, I am Shalila, bringing you breaking news tonight. At approximately 11 p.m. last night, a fire broke out at the building under suspicious circumstances. The flames spread quickly, causing panic in the area before emergency services managed to bring the situation under control. Investigators believe the crime occurred shortly before the fire started, raising serious concern that the incident was not an accident. Shortly after the fire, police identified and detained a suspect who was seen near the building around the time the incident took place.
Sufi binti Abdul Aziz, I'm 20 years old. Do you know why you are here?
No, I don't know. I'm here for what?
You are suspected of being involved in the fire incident that occurred last night. Please explain why you were near the building at that time.
Yes, I was there, but I was just walking. So I see many people there, and I stopped to see what happened.
What time exactly did you arrive?
Maybe around 12, I think, when after the fire had started.
Several witnesses say someone matching your description was seen near the building earlier. Can you explain that?
I told you just now. There was a lot of people. They could be wrong too. It wasn't only me.
Okay. Did you enter the building at any point?
No! I stayed outside for the whole time. I didn't go in.
Then, how do you explain traces of fuel found near the back entrance?
I don't know, but I don't know anything about that. Maybe anyone could be there before me?
You seem very calm for someone in serious case like this.
Because I didn't do anything wrong. I swear, I didn't do anything wrong.
If you are lying, the consequences will be severe. You need to be honest.
I understand. I'm telling the truth.
Okay, that's all. Shamila, say your hand now.
The interrogation you just saw shows how a suspect under pressure may deny responsibility not only to protect themselves but also to protect their own emotions. This is an example of self-deception where fear and guilt influence how a person thinks and responds. Let us now move on to our forum session to explore why people deceive themselves and how this process works psychologically.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be discussing a topic that is deeply connected to human behavior and decision making, titled The Psychology of Self-Deception: Why People Deceive Themselves. Self-deception happens more often than we realize. People may convince themselves that they are innocent, justified, or not responsible, even when evidence suggests otherwise. This is not always done consequently. In many cases, it is a psychological coping mechanism used to deal with fear, guilt, or emotional pressure. To better understanding this concept, we will relate it to a fire incident followed by a police interrogation. where a suspect denied involvement despite suspicious behavior and evidence. Through this forum, we aim to explore why people deceive themselves, how self-deceptions works in mind, and how it appears in real-life situations, especially during high-pressure events like criminal investigators. Let us begin by understanding what self-deception truly means from a psychological perspective.
Thank you, moderator. From a psychological point of view, self-deception is different from lying to others. When a person lies, they are aware of the truth but intentionally hide or change it. However, in self-deception, the individual gradually convinces themselves that their version of the story is true even if it contradicts the reality. Self-deception often occurs when the truth is too painful to accept. Admitting responsibility may lead to shame, guilt, or fear of consequences. To protect the mind, the brain creates an alternative explanation that feels safer. In the fire incident example, the suspect repeatedly denied the involvement. While this may appear as lying to the police, it may also be a form of self-deception. By telling herself, "I didn't mean for this to happen," or "I wasn't really involved," she reduces the emotional distress. Psychologically, self-deception helps to maintain the self-esteem and also the emotional stability, especially during the stressful and threatening situations.
Building on that, emotional factors play a major role in self-deception. Fear is one of the strongest triggers. In the case of the fire, the suspect faced possible arrest, legal punishment, and social judgment. These fears create intense stress, pushing the mind to find comfort in a denial. Guilt is another factor. Accepting responsibility for causing harm can be overwhelming. Instead of facing guilt, individuals may justify their actions or minimize their role in the incident. Self-deception also reduces cognitive dissonance, which is the mental discomfort that occurs when someone's actions conflict with their values. If the suspect believes she is a good person, admitting involvement in a fire would clash with that belief. Self-deception helps resolve his conflict. In short, people deceive themselves not because they are weak, but because the mind is trying to protect itself from emotional pain.
So next is about behavior and interrogation. So self-deception often reveals itself through behavior, especially during interrogation. So in the interrogation scene, related to the fire incident, the example cases just now, the suspect showed hesitation, avoiding eye contact, and gave unclear answer. So this behavior suggests internal conflict, like the suspect struggled between the truth and the story she had convinced herself to believe. Interestingly, self-deception can make a person appear calmer and more convincing because they partially believe their own story and their body language may seem controlled even under pressure. So next, however, a small sign like trembling legs, shaking hands, inconsistent timeline or defensive response indicate that the mind is working hard to maintain the false belief. So this shows that self-deception is not always obvious, but then it operates quietly, shaping how that person, the suspect, speak, react, and present themselves in stressful situations.
Looking deeper into the fire incident, the suspect's self-deception may have helped her justify her actions. Thoughts like, "I didn't plan for the fire to happen, it was not entirely my fault," or "anyone could have caused it." These statements reduce responsibility and emotional burden. Over time, repeating such thoughts can make them feel true. In real life, self-deception does not only occur in crimes. It appears in relationships, academics, and daily decisions. People deceive themselves to avoid failure, rejection, or accountability. However, while self-deception may provide short-term emotional relief, it often leads to long-term consequences, especially when truth eventually emerges.
Okay, so to conclude, self-deception is a powerful psychological process that allows individuals to cope with fear, guilt, and pressure. So, in the fire incident example, the suspect denied was not only aimed at misleading the police, but also at protecting her own emotional state. By deceiving themselves, she was able to stay composed and maintain a sense of innocence under intense interrogation. This forum highlights that self-deception is not simply about dishonesty. It is about emotional survival, self-protection, and the human tendency to avoid painful truth. Understanding self-deception helps us better understand human behavior and remind us that sometimes the hardest person to be honest with is ourselves.